Canada is in chaos right now. Another nationwide strike has hit. This time, it's the teachers. Schools are shutting down across the country. Parents are furious. And once again, Canada feels like it's grinding to a halt. What's worse is the man who's supposed to be holding it all together, Mark Carney, looks completely blindsided. This is the guy who's supposed to be calm under pressure, the so-called steady hand who stands tall on the world stage. But now, he looks stunned because Canada is falling apart right in front of him. And Donald Trump, yes, Trump, warned Canada this would happen. Let's dive into what's really happening here. The college and education system in Canada is facing one of the biggest strikes in recent memory. Christine Kelsey, the chair of the OPSU and SEPO College Support full-time bargaining team, laid it out crystal clear. Colleges are refusing to negotiate. The presidents of these institutions don't want to agree to anything that would protect or save jobs. The College Employer Council is saying that meeting union demands would cost $900 million. But that's not true. It's an excuse. They don't want to protect the workers. They want to save their own budgets. And this is what's infuriating. These support staff workers aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're real people. Men and women who make colleges function. They're the ones who clean, organize, help students, and keep things running when management hides behind closed doors. These are the people who hold the system together. And yet, the people at the top are treating them like disposable parts. Thousands of jobs have already been cut in just 1 year. Thousands, and more are about to go. But college presidents and bureaucrats couldn't care less. It's the same story every time. Regular Canadians get squeezed, and the elite class makes excuses. The bureaucrats at the top keep their salaries, their pensions, and their travel perks, while cutting the jobs of the very people who built the system. It's disgusting. They say the money's not there, that revenues are down, but when you dig a little deeper, it's all smoke and mirrors. The truth is, money is being funneled toward private colleges and training programs, while public colleges are left starving. That's not mismanagement, that's sabotage. And who's supposed to stop it? Mark Carney. He's the man in charge, the guy the media calls the adult in the room. But when it's time to lead, he disappears. He's too busy polishing his political image, too busy pretending to be Canada's next great savior, while ordinary Canadians suffer. It's a joke. The country is drowning in strikes, shutdowns, inflation, housing costs, and a healthcare crisis, and Carney is nowhere to be found. Let's talk about leadership for a second. Leadership means standing up for the people who built the country. It means taking responsibility. It means facing tough issues head on. Trump understood that. He may not be polished, but he was a leader. He fought for jobs, for the working class, for the people who get up every morning, put on their boots, and make the country run. He didn't bow to the elites. He didn't hide behind excuses. He delivered. That's what leadership looks like. Carney, on the other hand, hides behind numbers and bureaucratic jargon while Canadians lose their livelihoods. This strike is about more than just paychecks. It's about respect. It's about the value of work. For decades, Canada has been built by hardworking men and women who took pride in what they did, from farmers to factory workers, teachers, miners, and mechanics. But now, the system treats them like an afterthought, like they're replaceable. That's what's really at stake here. And the more this goes on, the more Canadians are waking up to how little their leaders actually care. Christine Kelsey said it best. They've lost over 10,000 jobs in just the past year, and the college presidents are refusing to agree to anything that would stop more layoffs. Think about that. In a country as wealthy and resource-rich as Canada, 10,000 education jobs are gone, and the leaders are fine with it. What does that say about the priorities of those running things? They want control, not compromise. They want obedience, not accountability. And yet, despite all this, there's hope. People are standing up. They're rallying, striking, showing up at campuses demanding answers. These are Canadians who've had enough. They're not radicals. They're not extremists. They're everyday citizens who've been ignored for too long. You can feel the anger in the air. You can feel the frustration. But you can also feel something else: resolve. That's how real change starts. Look, let's be honest. None of this is happening by accident. When you see government after government neglecting education, cutting funding, and letting the system rot, it's not incompetence. It's a choice. The people in charge know what they're doing. They just don't care. They'd rather hand money to private companies and global initiatives than protect jobs at home. And when people push back, they're labeled as troublemakers. That's the new Canada. If you speak up, you're the problem. Meanwhile, Carney just keeps smiling for the cameras. This guy had the chance to make things right, to use his influence to fix the crisis. But he's silent. That silence says everything. He's not interested in saving the working class. He's interested in saving his own career. And that's what makes people furious. because it's not just about this strike. It's about a pattern of betrayal, mismanagement, and political cowardice. If you're an older Canadian watching this, you've seen this movie before. You remember when leaders actually stood up for their country, when politicians didn't bow to global interests, when a man's word meant something. Those days feel long gone. And now, you're watching everything you worked for crumble in slow motion. The schools, the hospitals, the jobs, the values. It's painful to watch, and it should be. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Canada doesn't have a leadership problem. It has a courage problem. Nobody's willing to make the hard decisions. Nobody's willing to stand up to the bureaucrats. Nobody's willing to fight for the people. Trump proved what can happen when you actually fight for your country. He made America stronger, prouder, and more self-reliant. That's what Canada needs. Not another smooth-talking politician, but a fighter. Someone who puts Canadians first, not their careers. So what's next? The rallies will continue. The union will keep fighting. But they can't do it alone. Every Canadian needs to wake up. You can't just sit at home, watch the news, and complain. You have to demand change. You have to speak up, because if you don't, these same people will keep running the country into the ground. And it won't stop with the colleges. It'll spread to hospitals, to public safety, to everything that keeps a nation functioning. At Georgian College in Aurelia, hundreds of support staff and students have joined together, walking the picket line peacefully but powerfully. They know what's at stake. They know this isn't just about contracts. It's about survival. That campus is now slated for closure by 2026. Imagine that. An entire college community gone because of bad leadership and broken promises. It's heartbreaking. And the College Employer Council has the nerve to say negotiations were going fine until the union made unreasonable demands. Unreasonable? Asking for job security and fair pay is unreasonable now. Only in today's Canada. The truth is simple. This country needs real leadership. It needs someone who isn't afraid to tell the bureaucrats no. It needs someone who will fight for the working class, who understands what it's like to struggle, to build, to earn. Canada needs a fighter, not another empty suit giving speeches while everything burns down. So, to every Canadian listening, you have a choice. Keep trusting the same people who created this mess, or demand something better. You can't save a country by staying silent. You save it by standing up. You save it by remembering what made it great in the first place. Hard work, faith, family, and pride. The system doesn't want you to remember that. But deep down, you know it's true. So the next time you hear Carney or some bureaucrat lecture you about patience or budgets, remember this strike. Remember the thousands of Canadians losing their jobs while the elite class sips coffee in Ottawa. Remember how leadership used to look, because that's how a country saves itself, by remembering who it was before it forgot. That's all for today. I'm Greg, and this has been the Zone Media Network. Keep your head high, stay informed, and don't lose faith in what Canada can be, a nation worth fighting for. I'll see you next time.